Hello and welcome back to Stackhouse Knives. Thank you very much for watching. Today's video is going to be making a gas forge. This is also a really great opportunity for me to talk about gas burners and gas forge types. Now there's a lot of gas forge types that you can Google, you can research all sorts of really crazy designs, but for sourcing them in New Zealand and Australia, the best burners are the Damascus burners in my opinion. I'm going to be making a gas bottle forge that is a little bit smaller than the standard 9kg bottle that they use for, or the 9kg bottle shell that they use for their videos. So we're going to be using this bright pink tank, which is going to be awesome. If you look at the Damascus video that Corin has made, that's a much more informative video of how to build them. Everyone that makes their own gas forges and burners, it's always a unique forge, so no matter who builds it, who makes it, you're always going to make little tweaks depending on what you want the forge to do for you. So yeah, this is just going to be a sort of smaller variant of the standard 9kg Damascus style burner, Damascus style forge. And it's also really going to promote their, I call them a baby burner, I love them. But these little tiny burners that they have, also stocked in Damascus. I'll leave purchase links for all the supplies that they have as well, but I can't get enough of how amazing this burner is. It is so compact and so economical on gas. Why bother making your own burner when gas companies can make this thing for, I think it's like $100 for this burner. The best thing is to buy this burner, get yourself a shell, buy their kit, and go ahead and start making your own forge. And yeah, I'm thinking about having it either vertical or just on a wee bit of an angle. Problem with having it vertical is that the heat will come all the way up, and that can cause a lot of issues in terms of the hose heating up. So that could be a little bit of an issue. That's why Damascus have them on a little bit of an angle. There's a lot more clearance between the hose and the bottle itself, the bottle shell. So it means your hose doesn't heat up and melt and then catch fire and then blow up. Okay, so in terms of construction, the inside of the forge is going to have a majority of kaol wool. We'll sit on the inside of the metal in here, and then we're going to have a couple of fire bricks, and then my fire bricks will sit on top of the kaol wool, so we've got something hard and sturdy so that the stock won't just push through the kaol wool. And then what's going to be almost glued to the kaol wool and the fire bricks is this thin layer of cement, which is going to be called Duracast, and it's a really good product. I've been using it for forges for a while and I've recommended it. Damascus have a very similar product which is good, but I find the Duracast is a little bit more tough and less brittle. And the idea is that we're going to be lining the inside of the kaol wool, or gluing it to the fibers of the kaol wool, and then we're going to let that set. And you want to let that set for a good couple of days before you go ahead and start firing the forge up. Also, we'll need to drill a hole with a core drill to accommodate our burner. So before we start the build, we're going to be talking about the options that people do with making their own burners and buying their own burners. I nowadays buy my own burners for trouble-free and hassle-free gas problems. I have made my own burners in the past as well, so I've done both, and I'm sure a lot of you have also done the same. Now, it is not cheaper, in my opinion, to build your own burner. It is a lot more efficient and time constructive to buy a burner and then start working, because you've got two main elements of your forge that make it work. You've got the insulating properties of it, and then you have the heat source, or the burner itself. Those are going to be the cheapest things about your forge. The most expensive thing about your forge is how much the gas is going to cost you every time you have to fill up. And if you've got something that runs, well, great. But when you buy a burner from Damascus are a gas company. These guys are experts at how LPG works, how the combustion rate works, how the air and fuel mixtures and ratios work. So for you to say, I'm going to build myself a burner, compared to buying your own burner, there's just no comparison. You're going to get, when you build your own burner, you're going to get less fuel economy, and probably either a weird mix, be either slightly rich or slightly lean. And I've seen dozens of forges that have been made from sort of poor construction of a burner because they haven't understood how flow rates work and things like that. Now, I'm no better. My main forge is actually a really thirsty gas forge that's got forced air, so it has a blower that it runs on, and it runs on a very, very thirsty mix of air and fuel. Now, this is different to what I'm recommending because my gas forge is specifically made for making Damascus steel, and it's designed from an old knife maker called Don Fogg, who makes a really good style, vertical style gas forge. And in my opinion, they are really great for making Damascus steel, but they're pretty terrible at doing just about everything else because they have no floor. They, when you have something inside your forge, they'll fall in, and if you have to have handles welded to whatever you're working on constantly for this flow of things to work. So first off, I'm going to be using a hole saw to saw out a hole in the shell of the gas bottle. Once we've got that hole in place, I'm going to get the cowl wool on. I'm going to chuck our respirator on. When you're working with cowl wool, you want to wear gloves, either some latex ones or some woolen ones. I try to keep my arms covered. I get itchy thinking about this stuff because it is really, really fibrous. If you breathe that stuff in, it's not coming back out of your body. It is carcinogenic. So just be really aware of what you're working with materials wise. If you're unsure, I would check out the MSDS sheets. You can Google them online, such as refractories and cowl wools. So look at the material safety data sheets on those and look at what you should be wearing when you're working with those materials. Okay, so after my drill actually dying on me while I decided to shoot this video, of course, instead of shooting to the shops, I just decided to hack at it and cut the hole out with a angle grinder. It's a lot more crude, but it still works. And even though it's quite a crude hole, burner tip actually does fit in there quite snugly, and I reckon I can just get around there with the welder. Now the next thing is to work out how deep my burner is going to sit inside here. So I'm going to hopefully have around maybe 50 mil of cowl wool, and then maybe about 60 for the base. So that's me putting all of the cowl wool in, and then the refractory with the fire bricks. I have to wait for the refractory cement to cure, so I need to at least leave that for a few days before I can come back and finish the project. So this video is going to be a two-parter now. I didn't think about it this far ahead, but hey. So yeah, just sort of put the burner in there to give me an idea of what the forge looks like. It's actually quite light. It doesn't really weigh that much as well, which is also great. But yeah, you've got to leave that refractory in there for at least 24 hours before I put another coat in there. I'll see how I go. I'm going to cut a slit inside the other side of the forge, so that basically it'll look like that. Just have a little opening on the other side, and look at making a little couple of little legs for it so I can sit on the bench as well. So that concludes part 1 of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, a little bit more informative and kind of a guide of sort of how to. It's not a complete guide, but yeah. If you are new to the Stackhouse Knives channel and you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you do so right now. And you can click the post notification button as well, or the little bell icon, and that'll give you updated information on our videos. And as always, if you like this video, smash that like button with a giant hammer, and I'll see you in the next video.